For Tunisian crochet, you're going to make a base chain like you would for any other crochet project, and you're going to want to, I always find it at least easier to work into the spine loops, which is the ridge underneath. If you turn the flat side over, you get the spine loops. I always find it easier to pick those up. You're going to insert your hook into the second spine loop from the loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through, and leave it on the hook. That's actually 2 stitches on the hook, because the first loop from the base chain counts as 1. Going to insert your hook into the next spine loop, yarn over and pull through, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, and keep working your way through that until you get to the very last one. Well, once you complete that, you should have the same number of loops on your hook as you chained. In my case, I have 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And if you flip it over, you can see how the flat side of the original base chain looks like a nice, even row. This is especially handy if you have to work into the stitches later. So that was the forward pass of 1 Tunisian row. We call this the row, the foundation row. To work the return pass, yarn over, pull through 1 loop. And then to work the rest of the loops off, yarn over, pull through 2. Now in Tunisian, you typically want to use a hook size 1 or 2 larger than you would normally use for the weight of yarn. This is a worsted weight. I am using a J hook, which is also, let me check real quick. Funnily enough, it doesn't tell me, but I think a J hook is, I think it's 5.75 or 6 milliliters. That is the foundation row. A forward pass, working the loops onto the hook, and a return pass, working the loops off, equals 1 row. So to work the next, if you just hold this above the work a little bit, you can see that this loop that's on the hook sits over this edge stitch. That is automatically your first stitch. So instead of working here, bring the skip the edge stitch and work behind the first vertical of the next. See that vertical that I just put my hook behind? And you yarn over and pull through, and it pulls it up nice. And this is called the Tunisian Simple Stitch. So you're just going to keep inserting the hook behind the vertical loop, yarn over and pull through. Behind the vertical, yarn over, pull through. This is the forward pass of the next row. And so far you can see the vertical loops that we worked into are being pulled nice and tight compared to the ones that haven't been worked yet. So just keep continuing on behind the vertical loop until we get to the edge. Now the edge stitch, you have this vertical bar here. Unlike the first one, you're going to work into it. I'm going to pick up behind the very edge, and then if you, it's easier if I don't have it in there. If you look, there are 2 loops on the edge. This one here and this one here. You're actually going to work behind both of them. So you see how they've turned, they're sitting there. You want to yarn over and pull through. Once you do this for the remainder of your work, it'll create a really nice edge similar to this base chain. So to work the return pass, maybe some yarn, work the return pass, yarn over and pull through one, yarn over and pull through two all the way across. Let me get that. Now the return pass is similar in all stitches for Tunisian unless otherwise directed. Usually decrease rows or any fancy work that the pattern might call for, but almost always if it says just return pass, then it's the same pull through one, pull through two. And you can see this next row is really airy. You can see the loops. I'm sorry about that noise. I keep hitting the Tunisian hook on the edge of this table. So you have the front vertical loop right there. If you flip it over, there is a back vertical loop. It's actually the same thread of yarn. It's just caught up in our earlier return pass. So let's do some more TSS. We skip that first edge, go behind the second, vertical loop. Just keep picking them up. Might be easier to use a little bit of a lighter hand. Make sure that your stitches aren't too tight and your loops aren't too tight on the hook. And make sure they can move, not slip off, but move. So just keep working across. And pick up two loops of your edge. And so you have the nice vertical loops of the TSS, Tunisian Simple Stitch.
You know what? Go eat your family.